Alrighty. Hope I wasn't too harsh in that general spread, you guys. I just think that's what you're needing to do. And I honestly think Virgo is going to be like one of the most unfriendly in the zodiac right now. Like one of the most unfriendly, just because the sun opposing your sun and your ascendants and your moons is just like, well, what can you do? It's your opposite sign. What can we do? I don't even really know where to start. I think let's start here because we had the repeat Ten of Swords come out. The Seven of Cups being all about confusion, feeling a little bit mystified, really not confident in a decision one way or the other. And I think it's okay if you're not feeling entirely confident about where you want to go. But it is important for you to feel confident about how you want to be. And if you're in a state of stress, the decision to be no longer stressed is very important. And I know that like I said before, with this Ten of Swords that came out before, it's like you're over it. And if you have found yourself in a victim cycle and feeling sorry for yourself and whatever, you're like getting sick of it within yourself. You're like, oh man, like I got to get out of this whole vibe. Like this is not where I really want to be. And I think Virgo is noticing that, like they're in a position where they just really don't want to be. Perhaps there was a question of how much was being given versus how much was being received. And maybe there is a little bit of financial concern. Clearly, there is a feeling of transition or change that you're like looking dead in the eye, and you're having to face the reality that your reality may be changing. So there may be a little bit of hesitation on your part, but I guarantee you that the financial component absolutely will be okay. Three of Wands. So if you need to incur a little bit of a loss, seriously, don't worry about it. Don't even think twice about it. Just do it. Get yourself to a state of peace. Genuinely is really the only thing you can really do. And if you need to get off your high horse, humble yourself, concede, because I wonder, I felt as soon as this because I'm getting the masculine energies from like the other person. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but that was just like my intuitive thing. Kind of, you're really coming out as all these queens, the high priestess coming out, the feminine essence, and the masculine essence being turned upside down. Well, a masculine essence turned upside down is a cause for Nine of Swords. And unfortunately, so let's transition here for a minute. I'll come back to the Six of Wands. Unfortunately, the King of Swords is a major roadblock. This is the trademark of someone who is quote unquote shut down. You can't really talk to them because when they are asked to talk about how they feel, when they are asked about how they see things going, there just in general is not a lot of self-analysis. There's a lot of outward projection when a King of Swords is upside down. And this is, man, the Virgo Aquarius thing is like, it's unreal. And you don't have to be dealing with an Aquarius, although I know a lot of you actually are, or an Aquarius moon or Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius, Venus, Mars, whatever. Again, it could also be Capricorn, another Saturn ruled sign. Getting a sign of Capricorn here. Could, again, anybody. But Virgo is so determined to like want to fix this. which is why that attraction usually begins. But maybe you weren't able to really fix it, and you're starting to really turn yourself off to the whole thing. This is someone that a Virgo because a Virgo being Mercury ruled is all about very deep analysis. And deep analysis is all about breaking things apart, right? Both Virgo and Scorpio have that in common. It's about really digging into the issue. So when you start digging into this person, like I said, you start seeing their past and all of this. It's frustrating for you because you see so much more than they see. And there's nothing you can say. This is an extremely stubborn person. King. Not only just kings, but also King of Wands, Leo archetype. Someone that has a sense of entitlement, and coming out with the Nine of Swords, like that's a dangerous combination, right? There's a feeling of feeling special. And I know that you have that too. But at least you know that. And at least you know, like, yes, I need appreciation. I need, certain things. But this is an unhealthy connection with the reverse. So if this guy was upright and this star card of Aquarius, was upright, I'd feel better about it. But it's too connected with all the swords and stuff. It's just not that easy. Unfortunately, it's just not that easy. So while you're doing your thing, and they might even be doing their own thing too. Like maybe there's been a distance. Maybe you guys have been avoiding each other at the office. Maybe, whatever. Still communication is open. We're getting the pages. So the lines of communication are at least open. And yet still, I think they're really not bringing it to the table. Page of Coins. Like I said, it's like a consolation prize. And for a Virgo, that is not even a little bit going to work out, right? That's just not going to vibe. It's important for you to understand that this moon energy comes out with a trailblazing energy, like an Aries quality coming through, knowing that all you need to do is step right in front of you. You don't need to see the whole path. The path is always right in front of you. So your intuition coming out super strong. Okay, High Priestess. Accept the weird little detours that happen. The weird little synchronicities that occur. You don't need to go in and like extract all this meaning to everything. You don't need to take it all overboard. I don't think you would, but don't overanalyze those things. Just run with it. Remember the fluidity, not only of Pisces season, but also of a Mercury retrograde, your ruling planet, in a sign opposite yours. So yeah. Fluidity. Rigidity is going to kill you. Rigidity will keep you here. And this inevitable tower moment, whatever the heck that is, this inevitable tower moment will just get worse and worse the more stringent you are. The more expectations you have of both yourself and someone else. No expectations, Virgo. And I know it's hard for you to swallow, but seriously, make your life easy. Like, do yourself a favor. No expectations. Do you, remember? Do your stuff. It's there. That Nine of Swords, like it's theirs. It's not yours. The minute it came out, I was like, it's yours because you're like, man, am I dealing with this still? But it's not yours. It's theirs. And they're not handling Sun-Neptune conjunction, okay? So the stuff, like he's looking back and his own swords are being projected back. It's like a cycle going on here. It's like a negative return. And they don't see it and they don't understand it. And all these things that they're trying to balance, all these masks they're trying to wear, this whole facade, this whole idea of self that they've concocted in their mind, when they realize that it's not real, when they realize that in a moment they could lose everything, including you, including what you've given them, including the time you've dedicated to the company, including your value and all of this, when they realize that in a moment that could be gone, then they start grasping, and then they start making they start doing these little things. I always see this as a consolation prize. Some little token that they try, that they like in their mind, they've thought of this like, oh, okay, if I promise Virgo this, then they'll do that, or they'll stay, and it becomes laughable because you've already reached that breaking point, and there's really not a lot they can do at this moment that's going to make Virgo stay the same. I'm not saying all of you are breaking up. I'm not saying all of you are leaving your companies. I'm not saying that there's major external changes. This is very much internal. And there's nothing that they can do in an external capacity that is going to make Virgo revert back to who they were like 6 months ago or a year ago. Because you're just simply not the same. You've changed, and now the situation is changing right along with you. And they don't want it to. What do I always say in Pisces season? It's like realizing you've been hanging on to a fistful of water. And when this person opens the palm of their hand to discover that there's no water in there, that it all leaked out, they're going to be like, oh my goodness. What the heck just happened? And they realize that they lost. And they don't handle that well at all. So here's a very slippery energy, Sagittarius reversal, card of really letting go. Here's the ego stuff. This is not going to go without discussion. It's not going to be without competition or fighting or egos clashing. Look, Virgo, you can participate in this all you want, but there's absolutely nothing you can say that's going to get this person to see what you see, because they just simply don't want to see. They're not even in denial. They're in ignorance. I'm not saying you're perfect, okay? I'm just saying that you're in a position, in a very unique position right now, to see things in a manner that not everyone else can see, because Mars is in your 9th house and Uranus is like, man, freaking trying to get into that 9th house of yours for good. 9th house is all about seeing the whole forest. So you have that mind right now. You have that ability, plus Venus in your natural house, in a mind-oriented sign, Aquarius. So I mean, your mind is working in a way that no one else's is. You're seeing things like no one else's is. And I have a feeling your desire for freedom and liberation is off the charts. You cannot be tethered anymore. You will not allow it. You can't allow it. Because it sucks your soul away. So there's going to be discussions, especially once this comes on board. You're going to be like, oh my God, really? Like, this is what you're giving me? Really? And you too realizing that you are hanging on to a fistful of water. That their potential and the potential of this whatever relationship or connection or association is, potential can't be harnessed, right? Can't be harnessed. You can't grab it. She's a little bit of a control freak, yeah? I always say she's like my stage mom. She's the manager, agent, stylist, money manager, everything for her kid, right? She's the micromanager. So you can't, like, you have to let go. Four of Coins reversed. We'll get to this in just a second. Here's you. I think you want nothing more than to breathe. Be able to breathe. And this time of year, like, I don't know, like where I'm from here in Vegas, the air is like, it's so beautiful outside right now. Like, it's like 75 degrees, 70, 75 degrees, something like that. And it's just like, and I walked outside today as a Virgo, right? I walked outside today. I was like, oh my God, like I feel like it's finally starting to warm up. Like, and the ice is starting to melt and I can breathe, right? Without freezing my lungs to death. Like, life, it's starting to come back. And this cold days of January, Capricorn energy, you know, starting to melt. The devil, though, remember, is always about as above, so below. So when you look to the outside world and you see things that are kind of like crumbling down, this is like the enemy of the devil. This one, right? That's why this is number 15. This is number 16. This one is the structure. This one is the ivory tower. And this is the moment when the ivory tower comes crashing down. So you're kind of getting a double whammy of like the tower and the destruction of the tower all at once. Neptune. This is what Neptune does, man. I honestly think Neptune is like the most destructive planet, way more than Pluto. Way more than even Uranus, I gotta say, because it's just like, WTF, what just happened? Like, like, it's just so confusing. And this is the time when people more than ever want answers. And they get really disappointed when they don't get the answers that they want, because the only reason they want the answers is to validate themselves, and the world doesn't give it to them. So as you yourself try to seek answers, like, just stop. Do yourself a favor and just stop. There is no answer. There's no answer you're going to want. There just like isn't an answer. It's just you're changing. And so you evolve and you break free from your own doings. Judgment reversed. No answers. You yourself are the key. Beautiful thing about the Queen of Cups that I always bring up, of all the court cards in the tarot, she is the only one that has her thing, her cup, that looks different, right? Like this guy's cup, this king's cup looks the same as all the other cups in all the other cup cards. The wand guy has the same wand as all the other ones, right? The sword, the same. She's the only one that has, and so I call it my holy grail. She's the one that has the key. And she is Cancer, which rules the heart space. The key is in your heart. Your heart already knows, High Priestess, knows exactly what to do. Saturnian, yes, Saturn, all this Saturn stuff. Saturnian, yes, absolutely. But temporary. Okay, so the Three of Swords. Why was I so confused by that Three of Swords? So I didn't really talk about it in the general. Because I felt like you weren't even really that disappointed. And I question that a little bit, but I'm looking here, I'm like, yeah, you're not even disappointed. You're so over it. You're not accruing any karma with this situation because of how weirdly neutral you are. This is a prime example of how much growth you've gone through. Allowing life to bring you into a 9 and 10 of Swords situation, a devil situation, and allowing life to take it away. It comes in without permission and it leaves without permission. So what's happening is you're getting a very real taste of what it means to let life flow through you. This person is going to try, so they're upping the ante. It's all antics. They start here. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you the money. I'm going to give you this diamond ring. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, we can do that. Whatever. And your stoicism says, I'll believe it when I see it. And they realize now, okay, wow, I really do have a fistful of water. So they up the ante. And they take it to a Knight of Cups level. You can expect a lot of romantic offers or gestures. And when I say romantic, it doesn't have to be with love, right? Career stuff can also be love. Family stuff can also be romantic, right? It's all a romantic idea. It's all so dreamy. It's all so idealistic. It's all so perfect, right? Not only is Pisces Neptune ruled, but it is also Jupiter ruled as well. It's all so Jupiterian. But when you look deeper, this person is a really good person, by the way. I'm not saying they're like a terrible person. They're just in a different stage of life. They're in a different stage of development. Period. Plain and simple. They're just in a different space. So there's not a lot of blame. There's no finger pointing here. And you're just exhibiting this beautiful vibe of observation. You see them as a king, right? But because of the shutdown King of Swords, I don't know that they see themselves as a king. To get the card of Leo and the card of Scorpio tells me this person's being really extra. These are like the two most extra signs in the zodiac, right? Just so like out there and kind of over the top. And it's just kind of, I think it's comical. I think people this month, I said this with another sign too, like people this month are being comical in their lack of self-awareness. Comically unaware. So if you experience some drama, 5 of Wands, I'm not even surprised. I'm sorry, like it's funny. Not that you're laughing at them, not that it's mean, but it's funny how little they understand at this point and at this juncture in the relationship, at this juncture in your life. And I think what the 10 of Wands is suggesting is that your value systems is changing. Your material and external world reward, be it money, be it the marriage, be it the whatever, not satisfactory to you. And in a way, that thing itself becomes the oppressor. That thing you thought you wanted becomes the oppressor. What I'm actually seeing here is a losing desire itself, which is very tantric, very Buddhist. There's a famous quote. It says, freedom is not when you are free to have what you desire. True freedom is being free from desire. And that rings true. So while everyone else is out here desiring stuff, you seem to just withdraw from that feeling altogether, which is your liberation. And when you withdraw from desire, things seem to get easier. It's a very reverent space you're in. Because now you know what it's like to let life flow through you. So maybe some of you are vowing, making this covenant with yourself. to always let that be the case. While you may lose a little bit now, and while you may feel a little disheartened and a little disappointed, you still continue moving on in typical Virgo fashion, one day at a time, one step in front of the other. It's all you can do anyway, moon energy. One thing at a time, and knowing that while you do not feel necessarily aligned at this moment in time, and maybe you are feeling a little bit spread out or spread thin, as long as you keep doing what you love, as long as you keep fulfilling your passions, as long as you keep the focus on you and your own progress, there's faith that that alignment will occur. And I think there's a lot of excitement in the additional healing that is on its way. And as you work to consciously change your biochemical construct through experiencing happiness, through experiencing peace, like these emotions, allowing those chemical compounds to be excreted from your pituitary gland and attached to the receptors on your cells. And as your cells reproduce, over a course of a 2 months' time, the more happy and peaceful, serene, gratitude emotions that you emit, or you emote rather, you literally will have these emotions pumping through your blood so that these positive emotions become addictive. Technically, it's kind of really what happens. These kind of positive emotions become addicting. So you stay in that state so that no matter what happens externally, you are always true to that core base. And the faith is unreal of the unfolding of life, because I think life has proven itself to you so many times now that to not have faith would be comical. Okay? So this is a beautiful reading. It is a turning point. It really has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with your own spiritual evolution. As always, I know my readings are always super high level. But I'm going to leave you guys there. All right. Thank you so much for everything. I wish you guys absolutely nothing but the best. And I will see you come Aries season. Thanks so much. Take care.